Doing? It's so wonderful to finally bring this message to Toronto. This is our first time here. The most international city in North America. My beau that I'm dating is actually from here. And he says it's the most international and most well-traveled to city in North America, Toronto. So we're here. TOB's here. I have the huge blessing of traveling with Christopher and bringing this message and helping promote our programs that the Theology of the Body Institute has prayerfully designed. And I get to share with you for a few minutes exactly what vehicles we are using to bring this message to the larger society and to the church. And before I start, I wanted to share with you Cardinal Justin Regali. We are under the Archdiocese of Philadelphia, where our organization is founded, and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And Cardinal Justin Regali is our Episcopal advisor, and he actually is the pro-life bishop in the USCCB. So he recently released a statement on the theology of the body and the work that we're doing, and I think it's in your baskets or in your bags that y'all have, and I'm going to share with you some of those lines. This is what Cardinal Regali just said. "We are convinced that John Paul II Theology of the Body is a treasure for the Church, indeed a gift for the Holy Spirit for our time. Yet its scholarly language needs to be translated into more accessible categories if the average person is to benefit from it. To do this is the specific mission of the Theology of the Body Institute, and we believe that Christopher West, the Institute's popular lecturer and spokesman, has been given a particular charism to carry out this mission. It is also our hope that more and more men and women, priests, deacons, religious, and laity alike will avail themselves of the valuable training and resources offered by the Theology of the Body Institute." So you can read that full statement online. And before I share with you our programs, I wanted to let you know that when I came on board, I've worked in the nonprofit world for over 7 different nonprofits, either working or on a volunteer basis. And I've seen a lot of nonprofits out there doing and trying to, make a difference and make a change. And one of the things that is really beautiful about this nonprofit is that nothing is set forth without being totally and completely born in prayer. And not only do we aim to design it in prayer, but we aim for it to be effective in its results and dynamic in its presentation. This message of theology of the body is way too important to just not have it be dynamic. So one of the ways that we are bringing this message is through our on-site programs, which is what you all are taking part in right now. Your introduction workbooks is one of several programs that we take on the road and bring to parishes, church settings. We also collaborate and mix them with music shows depending on the audience that's needed. So the second program that we have is a clergy program. And actually yesterday we had the blessing of being able to bring a 4-hour presentation to the priests, deacons, and seminarians right here in Toronto. So if you have an opportunity, maybe tap your parish priest on the shoulder or one of the seminarians that you know and ask them, "Hey, how was that Christopher West? How was that Theology of the Body presentation?" And see how the program was. We actually can extend that program and make it a longer presentation for any one of your dioceses. And the third program that we have is our certification course. And there's a blue flyer in every one of your bags. And this course is designed to bring all laity, priests, religious, any leaders, or the average person a deep understanding of what theology of the body is. I've seen about 1,200 students come through this class. This is one of our main vehicles that we do in Philadelphia. And it's really great because you get 30 hours with Christopher, and it's a small classroom setting, about 80 to 100 people per class. And several people have come through the class that have really made an impression on me. And one such young woman had been in the audience with Christopher a couple of months earlier, and she really felt the desire to learn more about theology of the body. So we get a call one day, and she's like, I really want to come and take that class, take 30 hours of study, and take this retreat with you guys. But I have one problem. And we're like, well, what's that? She's like, I'm 8 months pregnant, and I'm unmarried, and I'm really afraid of being judged. So we immediately told her, please come to the Institute. This is the most pro-life place you're ever going to be around, the most pro-life people. Please come and study with us. So the next thing we know, it's Sunday night. Everyone comes in on Sunday and then leaves on a Friday. It's a 5-day course. And she shows up with this young man, and we had no idea who this was. Was this her brother? Was this her boyfriend? We had no idea. So we do introductions on a Sunday night. And she stands up, and she's 8 months pregnant, beautiful young woman, and she says, I'm here to figure out, we asked them, tell us why you're here, what you're doing, So she stands up and says, I'm here to figure out if this guy should be my husband. So we're like, okay, we know who he is now. And so then he stands up, literally. The guy stands up, he's got the baggy jeans, the shaved head, and he's like, I'm here to study body, the theology. He couldn't even pronounce it. He had no idea what this message was. And as the 5 days unraveled, we saw him staring, being able to look at his girlfriend with different eyes, being able to see her as a vessel of the Holy Spirit, a creator of life, and we saw him pull out her chair and be more gentle with her, and then they would be sitting on the couch by the fire in the evenings, reading the Song of Songs together. And there was just this, really visible transformation. And so about 2 months later, we get an invitation to her wedding. And she sent us a couple of pictures of how he proposed to her, because she was having this child on her own. She was doing her own thing. But once he agreed to go on this course with her, so he proposed to her, after I think the baby even came. And she sent us some pictures of their engagement. And one of the things he had done was he had his grandma hand stitch and frame a couple of phrases. And he had her walk into his family's home, and it was strewn with roses. And as she comes walking in, on the first frame it says, "I want to love you as Christ would love the church." And then she walks a little bit more, and it says, "I want to become one flesh with you." He walks a little bit more, and he says, "What I'm trying to say is," and he's down on one knee, "Will you marry me?" And so here's a young man that was given this language, and that was able to understand this and love his future bride in this way. Will their life be perfect? No. Did they choose life, and are they on a road of bringing this grace into their lives? Yes. And this message of theology of the body is a key element in that, I think, in bringing this pro-life message and in helping marriages and families be stronger for the next generation. I actually have a picture. They gave me their pictures. They're out on my back table, which is the blue table straight back, if you want to see some of their pictures. And they actually have another baby now, too. I met their parents recently. Another wonderful person that we saw come through the class was, we got a call from England one day, and she's like, "I'm sorry I had to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to call you all to get you perfectly at the time to suit my schedule." And it turns out she's a nun. And she has very strict hours, and she's like, "Well, I've been in Africa for the last 32 years, working in an AIDS hospice for the last 12. And she told us that she has been assigned a mission by the United Nations to rewrite the programs on helping to educate on how to eliminate AIDS. And she said that as a Franciscan missionary nun for over 30 years in Africa, she has seen nothing but the continual growth of AIDS in Africa, and the programs that the United Nations had given her to use and the handing out of condoms really had not alleviated the problem. They just exacerbated it. So she had gotten permission, so the UN had asked her, they said, "We want you to write the next generation of educational programs for Zimbabwe," I think she's working in. And so she said, "Okay, if I get to rewrite them, I want to incorporate theology of the body." And they said, "Okay." So they paid for her and the Protestant director of the United Nations AIDS in Africa to come down and study at our institute. And she's her name is Sister Crucis, which is Sister of the Cross, and she's finishing those programs. And they should start being used in several parts of Africa in the years to come. So please pray for her and the work she's doing. These are just two of the many beautiful stories. Every person has a story. The ways to God are as numerous as the people. And so these are just two wonderful stories. I'm going to share with you briefly as I close up 5 ways in which you can help us. If you reach into your bags, you'll see this course. I encourage you to come. Be one of the next apostles of this message with us. If you can't come on our course, find someone who can. Invite your priest. It's a great experience for a parish priest. Really, the more priests we can